It is Sunday, September 13th, and if you are a horse racing fan, you're going to enjoy the three guys horsing around tonight. It's the fastest 90 minutes on social media. The Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. And please welcome, they're known as the Secretariats of Live Streaming. Not because they've been put out to stud, but because they are champions. Here they are, Ken and Glenn, with a guy named Scott.
Hey, Scotto.
Glenn,
it's going to be a bright day at the track today. I'm excited. Watching ponies run in every direction.
Look, it's the trifecta right here, isn't it, pal? It's the trifecta.
That is awesome.
We got thoughts of Secretariat on our mind today, and we thought, why keep them on our minds when we can share it with you guys?
So this all came about because of Brian Hess. And Brian Hess sent me this video, and he says, jump ahead to this one spot. It's an awesome story about Secretariat and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, wow, I did not know that stuff. It was incredible. So I know Scott is a presidential historian. However, I have a feeling that he may know a thing or two about the old Secretariat.
I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead, Glenn. I'm sorry.
Scott's an authority on horse racing. Scott, let me ask you equestrian.
Equestrian.
By the way, tonight's Ray-Bans brought to you by my dear buddy Vance Sparks, who just randomly gave me these.
That's very cool.
And they're brand new and they're expensive. And don't you love friends who just go, I was thinking about you today. And it seems to me that to go with your often hip personality, you need some hip glasses to accompany that image. Hey, how about some Ray-Bans? And he just bought me Ray-Bans. I need more friends like that. Yeah.
Wow.
So Glenn, talk to us about horse racing, brother.
Glenn, when I first saw you, I was thinking of, first of all, yes, you do look, if you had the little bowler hat on or that, you would look like you were heading to the track, but you also look like a jazz musician. I expected you to hold up a saxophone with them. Man, it looks great. That was so cool. Yeah, look like you're going to talk like this and play your saxophone.
Yeah. So tell us about horse racing. We know you know U.S. presidents. Now I'm international horse racing.
I'm sure not an expert on horse racing by a long shot, but I grew up 30 miles from Churchill Downs, so.
And you grew up in farmland, dude. I mean.
Well, in the Louisville area, that was where I was 30 miles from Louisville, 90 miles from Indianapolis. So you kind of got both the Derby and the Indy 500. And then when I worked in television in Louisville, that was one of the really fun things, was to cover the Kentucky Derby every year. And boy, I'll tell you, I started well after Secretariat had won the Derby, but that was when I was in school, and oh my gosh, it was just the big talk, because literally the old timers would constantly say the greatest horse that ever lived, and to hear. There was a guy, and those that are watching from Southern Indiana, they call it Kentuckiana. It's Kentucky and Southern Indiana, and the old timers will remember somebody named Kaywood Ledford, who was the quintessential sports broadcaster down there, who just could not quit talking about Secretariat. That it was he was the greatest horse that ever lived.
Oh my goodness!
So
well, you just
still to this day,
I've been within 30 miles of your hometown.
Yeah.
Because I've been to Churchill Downs, but I've never been to Caruthersville. So I've been that close, huh?
You've been that close. I didn't know you were so close. It's a wonder you didn't get caught in the traffic.
Like a combine going down an old country road. That's always cool.
At the stoplight. That was always the great thing about giving directions. You go to the stoplight.
Yeah. Right.
By the way, we now have 2 stoplights. They're
Oh,
both
wow.
over the same intersection. Went from 1 to 2. But anyway,
That's delightful. So Ken, tell us why Secretariat is on your mind, because you came in just all thrilled and bothered about this.
I don't know that I was thrilled and bothered.
Well, that was my observation. I
Okay.
thought we're both thrilled and bothered at the same time.
I found it absolutely amazing that, first obviously I've heard of Secretariat. You'd have to live under a rock, but like, I didn't know that they performed an autopsy on the horse after it had passed. I didn't know that the horse had a heart that was almost 3 times the size of the average horse heart. And I think about that and I think, man, was it the size of the heart in the horse or was it the horse in the race? And I think it was the size of the heart,
right,
that made that horse the greatest horse that ever lived. Ever. Still, Scott just said it a little bit ago. He said it still hasn't been beaten.
the only Kentucky Derby run under 2 minutes. The line at the beginning is to take off on what they always say about the Kentucky Derby, that it's the fastest 2 minutes in sports. Well, he's the only horse to ever run it under 2 minutes, and it's a record that still stands to this day. Probably will never be broken.
I had decided, you guys, that if 24 had lasted for me one more season, just one more season, that I was going to buy a racehorse. I had just wanted to do it and run it out at Del Mar and name it Hoof Hearted.
Hoof Hearted.
Hoof Hearted.
So I could listen to the track call. Hoof Hearted. Hoof Hearted. Coming down the runway. It's Hoof Hearted out to the early lead. It's Hoof Hearted.
Wow. Welcome back to junior high, everybody.
And away they go. Their horse is now on the track. They're racing alongside of the rail, and Hoof Hearted coming out to lead. He's moving along the rail fast. It actually took a while for that one to land for you guys.
Oh, wow.
I was trying to think half-hearted, hoof,
Hoof-hearted.
hoof in mouth, hoof. I was going through the whole.
Hoof-hearted. Okay. Hey, Ernest, we got a laugh out of Ernest there.
Yeah.
Oh God, everybody. So when I was a kid working in my mom and dad's grocery store back home, you'd get calls all the time because that was one of the things that, hello, do you have Prince Albert in the can? Yes, we do. Well, let him out. Click.
Yes, we all did that. Or we call the meat department, the butcher saying, do you have pig's feet? Yes. Well, then get some shoes and no one will notice. Remember that one, Scott?
Look what Steven says. My first horse bet ever would gladly be placed on
Hoof Hearted. Good. Thank you, Steven. It's not an outrageous idea.
That is funny.
Well, are you going to, Ward, my neighbor, just joined in. Good.
Hey, Ward.
You'll meet Ward when you guys come visit me here in Dallas.
Good deal. Awesome. I'm Mike Wilson. I see Mike's here too. He's one of the good guys.
Oh, hey, Mike.
Yeah.
So tell us about the church service. You were inspired. You weren't bothered. I was playing with you. You were inspired.
No, I can't do it with the passion this guy did. It was pretty incredible. Like he was going off the rails about this horse and how big its heart was. And I mean, that thing, Scott, you have the clip pulled up, right?
Yeah. Do you want to see just okay?
Yeah, let's watch.
Didn't they just run the Derby? Like, wasn't the Derby delayed by a few months?
Yeah, the Derby always is the first Saturday in May. Because of COVID and all that. They ran it Labor Day, Labor Day, before Labor Day, and with nobody in the stands. But the Derby is just such an incredible event. But the Triple Crown, as you might imagine, Triple Crown is 3 races. It's the Kentucky Derby, and then the Preakness, and then the Belmont Stakes. Yeah. And it is extraordinarily rare for any horse to win all three.
Right.
They're different lengths. Typically, horses have more time off between races. And so with the longest one being the last one and the lack of rest, typically what happens is that the horse that wins, if they win the Derby and win the Preakness, they're usually out of gas when they get to the Belmont. And that's why
what's
it's so
the
rare.
time span between these races?
2 weeks.
Really?
So you run the Derby 2 weeks later, you run the Preakness 2 weeks later, you run the Belmont.
Now in Las Vegas, since you're based there, Scott, are the odds right now still the same as any random horse winning the Triple Crown, the exact same as the Cleveland Browns winning the Super Bowl?
Yes, most years that would be
still the same.
Yeah, that would be the case. But it's totally different when it comes to the Secretariat. There hasn't been a horse this dominant. There have been other great horses, but there certainly hasn't been one.
Hey, the odds are probably better in Vegas on the Browns winning than they are here in Ohio. So,
well, I have to tell you, our dear friend Wendy, who is a devout, loyal fan, shared with us last night something that Ken and I were not aware of, which is that apparently because of this whole kneeling during the national anthem thing, that apparently revenues are down in the NFL, so much so that they have decided that they're going to have to drop one team. And so they've come up with a solution that there's going to be apparently a merger, which will go into effect next week. They didn't want to do it the first week. But in the second week, they're going to merge the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the Green Bay Packers and come up with the Tampax. Now, here's the deal. They're only good for one period, and there is no second string. So it's just a thing that they've come up with. And Wendy, Scott, Wendy gave us one of those last night, and Ken and I read it, and we just couldn't even believe that came in from one of our fans. One of our fans did that. So if any of you are offended, please look up Wendy.
Wendy.
If any of you are offended, I'm sorry, but if you're not offended, I'm not.
Then we're not sorry at all. There is no
apology. About that last week, right?
And for the record, just to be clear, Wendy, we want to further acquaint you with football. They are called quarters in football and periods in hockey. Just to be clear. So, do you have a clip for us?
Let's hastily move
from that last comment. To watching Secretariat.
Yeah, I think we need a buffer between this and the minister. Just kind of a wild.
Could you give us a bridge so that it serves as a better, more respectful segue into that? Lisa enjoyed it. Lisa's giving Wendy credit.
All right, I'm sharing my screen. Is it coming across there?
Yeah, go ahead and hit full screen. Hit full screen on your thing.
All right, I will start it. Full screen.
And you will see Secretariat being led. His number is 2, but he goes into the number 1 post. And then coming in after him is Private Smiles, with the distinguished Whitney colors. Most of these are quiet horses. The starters have handled almost all of them. They don't anticipate any trouble. And as this third horse goes in, I give it up to Chick Anderson, who called the race for you.
Thanks, Woody. The horse is continuing to move into the gate. Here's the one horse that caused a bit of trouble in the Derby. Twice the Prince, but he appears to be going in fine today. Yes, he's in him well. And Sham now going in. He's the outside horse, and we're ready to go for this tremendous Belmont Stakes. Everybody's in line, and they're on. Looks like the early lead goes to My Gallant. Yes, My Gallant going for the lead with Twice the Prince on the outside. Secretariat away very well, has good position on the rail, and in fact is now going up with the leader. They're moving for the first turn. It is Secretariat. Sham on the outside is also moving along strongly. And now it's Sham. Sham and Secretariat are right together into the first turn. My Gallant has third behind them. Then it's Twice a Prince, and the trailer is Private Smiles as they go by the turn. Those two together, Sham on the outside. Sham getting ahead in front as they move around the turn with Secretariat second. Then there's a large gap. Make it 8 lengths back to My Gallant in third and Twice a Prince fourth. And Private Smiles is still the trailer. They're on the backstretch. It's almost a match race now.
Secretariat's on the inside, by ahead. Sham is on the outside. They've opened 10 lengths on My Gallant, who is third by ahead, with Twice a Prince fourth. Then it's another 8 lengths back to Private Smiles, who is trailing the field. They continue down the backstretch, and that Secretariat now taking the lead. He's got it by about a length and a half. Still Sham, 10 lengths back. My Gallant, Twice a Prince. They're moving on the turn now. For the turn at Secretariat. He looks like he's opening. The lead is increasing. Make it 3.5. He's moving into the turn. Secretariat holding on to a large lead. Sham is second, and then it's a long way back to My Gallant and Twice a Prince. They're on the turn, and Secretariat is blazing along. The first 3/4 of a mile in 1:09 4/5. Secretariat is widening now. He is moving like a tremendous machine. Secretariat by 12. Secretariat by 14 lengths on the turn. Sham is dropping back. It looks like they'll catch him today, as My Gallant and Twice a Prince are both coming up to him now. But Secretariat is all alone. He's out there almost a 16th of a mile away from the rest of the horses. Secretariat is in a position that seems impossible to catch. He's into the stretch. Secretariat leads his field by 18 lengths. And now Twice a Prince has taken second, and My Gallant has moved back to third. They're in the stretch. Secretariat has opened a 22-length lead. He is going to be the Triple Crown winner. Here comes Secretariat to the wire. An unbelievable, an amazing performance. He hits the finish 25 lengths in front. It's going to be Twice a Prince second, My Gallant third, Private Smiles fourth, and Sham, who had it today, dropped back to fifth. An amazing, unbelievable performance by this miracle horse. And look at Mr. Sweeting.
Woo!
Is that amazing?
That is unbelievable.
Oh, go Secretariat.
And the
That was
thing to
exciting.
remember is those weren't horses they just went and got out of, somebody's barnyard in Ohio, right? I mean, those are the greatest horses in the world.
Every best horse in the world was giving it their all that day.
And that's how dominant. It's the most, Howard Cosell used to talk about horses were athletes. He said, we don't give enough credit. Horses and race car drivers are great athletes. And he said, the Secretariat's the greatest athlete of all time. And
my wife made an observation because I shared the video that Brian Hess, who's on here with us tonight, Brian shared it, and she goes, and if you notice, not one of those jockeys were whipping their horse.
Mhm.
And because she's a horse girl, and she's very, very against whipping horses.
Right.
So, but it was like that jockey and the horse were just freaking connected. And the announcer said 25, but the I guess he had to apologize. It was actually 31.
31 by the finish line.
Yeah. Crazy.
Ron Turquette, who was the jockey, had this story that he used to tell. Remember early in the race where Secretariat and Sham are running, kind of neck and neck. He said Secretariat was just a killer. I mean, he had a personality, and it was like he let him stay with him for a while. And Sham ended up finishing last. That's the other thing that people don't talk about. It broke his heart. Yeah, I mean, he was just broken. So it's incredible, just incredible.
Scott, it occurs to me that Secretariat was the Mike Tyson of horse racing, and that you are the Secretariat of voice broadcasters.
Aren't you nice? Well,
you are the Secretariat of vocal gifts. I think with your vocal gifts, you're at least 25 lengths ahead of the pack. I even heard the expression Secretariat was the Jane Hathaway of horses. But unless you appreciate the secretary link.
Yes, to Milton Drysdale.
Oh, Milburn
Drysdale.
Drysdale.
Yes.
Do we remember the names? Can anyone remember the names of those actors?
Nancy.
Oh, you're good.
I'm stalling out on the last name, Nancy Culp.
Oh, we have a winner. And what was Nancy's middle name?
Oh, you got me there.
She went by it in some movies.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
I'll give you a hint. It's the character's name she played in the Beverly Hillbillies.
Jane?
Nancy Jane Culp.
I'll be darned.
Yes. And then Milburn Drysdale was played by. Oh, I got a little snuffer for you guys.
You got me on that one.
Raymond,
no clue.
character actor Raymond Bailey.
Bailey, yes.
Raymond Bailey. And do we round the horn and come up with the other character names?
Sure. Jethro Bodine, of
Was
course.
played by
Max Baer
Max Baer Jr.
Jr., who was the son of the boxer,
boxer, Max
world
Baer.
heavyweight champion boxer. in fact.
And then Ellie Mae,
Was Donna Douglas,
very good. And Granny,
Irene Ryan,
oh, good. And of course, Jed Clampett.
the guy who got sick playing the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz.
Correct. That's trivia.
So
What
was
his name?
replaced. His real name was Barnaby Jones. No, wait. It was Buddy Ebsen.
Buddy Ebsen. Correct.
Song and dance man.
Hey, you made the loop. Very nice. You missed one. Raymond Bailey.
Raymond Bailey.
So, are we going to tie this into a sermon that we heard?
I love what Randall's asking here. I wonder if any other major horse race was ever won by 25 lengths. 31, actually. It was 31.
I doubt it very seriously.
Yeah.
Certainly not at that level. I mean, not at the elite level of
Secretariat.
yeah.
Do you think that it had? Do you think it really had something to do with the size of the horse's heart? I mean, they found that out obviously after.
Well, the heart, given that the
15
heart
years.
is the engine, is the engine, then I would say yes, because a bigger engine means more horsepower.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, it's more horsepower, and I think that it probably had everything to do with that, which was this minister's theme, right? Is that he was all heart, that with a bigger heart, and when we lead with our heart, we heard just a couple of weeks ago that leading with your heart from Dr. Bernie Siegel, he said that when you lead with your heart, that's when you experience magic.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, is that ever true?
Yep. It is so true. I think this is a perfect theme for tonight.
I think we have the bridge set.
Are we having our pre-show meeting right now during the show?
We pretty much are. Do you want to play? Are we looking at a piece of a sermon or no?
No,
Oh, we're not. Well, do you want to recap? You saw it, didn't you?
I mean, I can't. I'm not. I didn't memorize it.
Well,
I mean,
I
we've already
you can.
we've already recapped it pretty much.
Okay. Well, you have a preacher that's alive and well in you. I've seen him go to town a couple times this week.
Brad Leland's on here giving
That's
Scott.
so nice. I appreciate that. Thank you.
He does have pipes.
Brad, I can do the same thing.
Why don't you introduce our show then, Ken? Let's hear your introduction.
Yeah, next week.
Come on, it's Sunday.
Next week.
It's Sunday.
Sunday.
I can't do it.
I want to hear it. It's
Oh,
Sunday, the
Sunday.
13th of
Sunday.
September.
US 21 drag strip, Crothersville, Indiana. Sunday.
Well, parking is
Sunday.
We used to have a guy here in Texas growing up. It was always Sunday, 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 Green Valley Motor Speedway. You won't want to miss him. John the Snake Prudhomme, TV's Tommy Highbolt. They'll both be there. Right?
Don the Snake Prudhomme. I love
You
that.
remember him?
Eddie Don Garlitz.
Wow.
Don the
Don
Snake
the
Prudhomme. When I was a junior in high school, they asked me to introduce the championship, get in the ring and introduce a wrestling match, a big time championship wrestling.
Oh, geez.
And
Do you remember the introduction?
oh gosh, yes, because when I was a junior in high school, I probably same height, but I probably weighed 115 to 120 pounds. I mean, I was my FFA jacket was a size 26. That would have been my suit jacket, was a 26.
Wow.
So about
So
the same as you are now.
Really. So I'm working on it. I'm getting there, right? So I was so afraid that I was going to get up in the ring and forget their names, I wrote the wrestler in this corner on this hand and in this corner on this hand, right? But I had a hand mic, so I had to introduce like this, switch and introduce like this. But I was so nervous, so I didn't realize that what I did was, in this corner, Angelo Poffo. And in this corner, Baron von Raschke.
Oh my gosh!
I had to remember. Well, the other thing you had to remember from wrestling out of Chicago, Illinois. He weighs 185 pounds. Angelo Poffo, who, by the way, is I just blanked on the name. Somebody help me! He was the father of one of the big wrestlers, Randy Savage, Macho Man. He was the Macho Man, Randy Savage's dad.
Wow.
And then Baron von Raschke, who lived in Dallas, in fact, his whole deal was, he had a shaved head and he would goose step, and he was the German that was going to come over and.
Oh, did they call him the Brute?
Baron von Raschke. He had the claw. That was his thing.
No, that was Fritz von Erich.
Well, and see, that was the thing. They worked that was back when wrestling was in territories, right? It wasn't like it is now in WWE. So Baron von Raschke and Fritz von Erich worked in separate territories. They never worked the same territory.
They each had mastered the iron claw.
Yeah, that's what. And the other thing was, he would look at it before he would do this, and it would look at it before he would get it. So,
I want to do an impression. I want to do an impression right now of my grandfather when I was 7 years old. You ready? Y'all come in here, boys. He's putting the iron claw on him. He's going to put the iron claw. Watch. He's going to start bleeding any minute. Iron claw. That was my grandfather.
I love it.
Very excited to watch grown people bleed.
Oh, wow.
I
never watched it.
Family that thought the moonshot was fake, but wrestling's real.
Wow.
The moonwalk was fake, but wrestling. Now that's for real, right there.
Right. Oh, very cool. Macho Man Randy said, and those guys, the other funny thing was it was such a, because I'm 15, 16 years old, and I'm announcing these guys, and I just thought, how interesting, because they just beat the heck out of each other all night long, and then they all got in the same car and drove back to Indianapolis. So,
yes.
No resentments.
Wahoo McDaniel. I did a match where Wahoo McDaniel was there, Brad. Wilbur Snyder was there that night. These are old wrestling names, but the one I didn't get to introduce was Dick the Bruiser. That was because he was the biggest name in Indiana, was Dick the Bruiser. Matter of fact, Letterman's band with Paul Schaefer was always known as he always introduced him as the world's most dangerous band, because Letterman was such a Bruiser fan, and he was known as the world's most dangerous wrestler. The world's most dangerous man, Dick the Bruiser.
I remember the one Brad just referenced, Danny Pletches. And then we also had Playboy Gary Hart.
We did.
Yeah, Playboy Gary Hart, who was like a promoter. He was sort of the Don King of the 60s for wrestling.
Can I ask you,
Playboy Gary Hart became a presidential candidate later, didn't he?
No, did he really? Oh, that's funny. I got it. So I think he was also a Bret Hart's father, I think.
Wow.
I mean, we are talking about the size of one's heart, right, Ken?
Yeah. See,
I'm just trying to stay on topic.
Good job, Glenn. So somebody's calling me on
the bat phone.
I can't do it.
Commissioner Gordon.
I tried. I can't do it. There goes my acting career. So
what, you tried to do a freeze?
No, since I didn't ever one time ever in my life ever watch a big time wrestling event ever, never, not once. Like, you say these names, and I'm like, does that mean that since I knew from a very young age that it was all fake and made up, that I might be the smartest in the crowd or just a dumbass for never watching it.
Scott, you have thoughts about that?
I'm fine either way.
I think there's a good chance you're going to be okay having not exposed yourself to that.
I won't see all of the above.
I'm just kidding.
I was always a big fan of watching someone get hit in the head with a chair. You know, and it didn't get real to me until somebody got tossed out of the ring. You know, and that's when the chairs came out and they started banging each other around with it. Oh, those were the good old days.
My favorite hold was the sleeper.
Yeah, he's putting him to sleep. Putting him to sleep.
He just
Right.
hold his head up and drop. Hold his head up and drop. Third time.
Wow.
Miracle comeback. You know, I got to tell you though, years later, I was giving a speech in Nashville. I think I told you guys this story, and a buddy of mine is the CEO of the Convention and Visitors Bureau in Nashville. We were going to get together. He got called out of town. He said, "Hey, you know, I've got the tickets. WWE's having a pay-per-view, big deal. You know, it's across the street. You want to go?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to get. You know, I watched wrestling when I was a kid. I haven't seen wrestling forever." And he said, man," he said, "the tickets for nothing. It's just literally across the street. Go. What else you gonna do? Sit in your hotel room? Go." So I take his ticket and I go over, and I was blown away. Look, I know that it's, you know, wrestling. As a matter of fact, they even call it entertainment now. But the way that they could take a crowd and bring them high, and then drop in the good guy versus the bad guy, and the way that they did the storytelling. And just the production value of it was absolutely amazing. I mean, it was just it was. I get why people are fans, even as they know that it's kind of like a soap opera for guys in a lot of ways.
Well, I mean, showmanship is showmanship, right?
Yeah.
And not to mention, I know this much. I know that it does require a great deal of athleticism.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that, you're going to get hurt. I don't care if you're playing or not. When you're jumping off those turnbuckles into the center of the ring, if you're not in masterful shape and quite acrobatic, somebody's fixing to break some bones.
And the highest paid actor,
for those of you who don't know, fixing means preparing to or getting ready to. It's a Southern term. We're fixing to do something.
That's it.
Right.
And the highest paid actor in the world last year was
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right.
If you call that acting.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
Every week, Eric chimes in to tell us how much he loved somebody on Magnum PI. He tells us that someone who hadn't even been born when it was going on, he goes, "Man, I loved him on Magnum PI." And then we always get this random shot of a child crying when he gives us the news.
Yeah.
Last night, what were we, 2 minutes in, Ken, when he informed us he was leaving now?
I know.
And he was crying.
I know.
Yes, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh,
So what is our transition about living with heart, Scott? I think that was
oh, good grief. That's so true, Ward. Oh, man.
They used razor blades to cut their foreheads.
Yeah, it's called blading. Now they don't do it as much. They hardly do it at all now, because now that it's corporate and, you know, TV has so much investment. But what they do is hide it, like they cut a razor blade like in half and hide it somewhere, like their finger would be taped up or whatever. And then like somebody get them in a hold. If you're the guy in the hold, then you'd reach up and like just do a little cut on your forehead. But you know, if you're cut here, how badly it bleeds.
Yeah.
And it's called bringing color to the match.
Not to mention it can leave a scar.
Well, Ward's exactly right. I mean, Dusty Rhodes' forehead looked like a, you know, there's some pictures of these guys, you know, in their 60s, and their foreheads are just they look like road maps. They're just carved up. But
you are blowing me away right now, because I had always been told, I'm not joking, I had always been told by my grandpa, because that's where the bulk of my education came from, that they had these little blood packets, and especially the people that were doing the Iron Claw, that the little bitty blood packets that they would, when they would pop, that grab would pop the packet and send blood everywhere. And now I'm learning at age 61 that they were actually cutting their forehead with a blade.
Blood packets too were another thing that they did.
Well, it seems far more tame to use a blood packet with little Hawaiian punch as opposed to digging into your face.
No kidding.
I mean, goodness.
Jeez.
What does Charles Coachman say? We had a wrestler named Pepper Gomez, the man with the cast iron stomach. We went to see him at our high school, and we just laughed and said it was just a beer belly.
Wow.
The cast iron stomach. What a great title to earn by merely being out of shape.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. What was the big guy that was in, I think, boxing, and he was huge, and like recently he used to wear the American flag trunks. He was a monster, and he got really old, but you just didn't want to be hit by him.
They called him Butterbean.
Yes, Butterbean. Exactly. Yeah. Butterbean is an example of someone that just let yourself go.
How did we
go and then get into the ring and beat the snot out of somebody because you're 3 times their size?
We went from Secretariat to WWE. How did that happen?
We did that pretty quickly too.
And may I add, with ease.
I mean, it really kind of was.
Well, now that we've come into a dead end street, is that Butterbean? No, that's character actor Leif Garrett later in his life.
I'm trying to. I'm in full screen here, I thought, but I'm trying to get.
Is this the minister that gave the sermon?
No, that's a guy named Dusty Rhodes, and he was the American Dream, and this is in his later years, but it's hard to see. I'm trying to make it bigger here, and I don't think I can, but
there you go.
You're doing a good job. There we go.
And you can see there on his forehead, that's the result of all the blading that he did.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So yeah. So that's what happens when you blade.
Can we agree that maybe that's a little overkill?
Look what Alan says. Vince McMahon banned blood from the WWE when he made it more family friendly and actually fined people when blood came into matches. That's probably a good thing. Just saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and the problem too is a lot of these guys are they're having the same problems with CTE that football players have, because they'd take chair shots or they'd take shots to the head. And, these guys are working 4 or 5 shows a week. And we the wrestling fan might see Raw on Monday night or SmackDown on Friday night or one of the pay-per-views, but they don't see the house shows that they do, all week long, or they did until COVID. And man, just the demands on their body and the demands, and a lot of them have dealt with, some severe problems after that. So,
wow.
I know this much. I know that at every week at 7:39 exactly.
Yes.
What do we do?
What do we do? It's time at 39 after the hour that we play that magical game. Ooh, that's just wrong.
I know that Carolyn Chase is looking forward to it because she just gave us an ooh, that's just wrong.
And I got one this week.
Oh, I know you do. Fasten your seatbelts, kids. What's this one, Ken?
Well, and I apologize in advance to any employees or anyone that's affiliated with this this organization that I've actually paid money to since 2012 for their streaming services. There is a company, sounds a little like NetJets, they offer a streaming service, and I saw
They have flicks on the service.
they do. They
I
do.
thought-
But I just saw that there was they released a movie that actually, and I investigated big time before I made any moves, and they're running a film on there that depicts 11-year-old girls doing things that are absolutely horrific. And I won't go any further than that, but since 8+ years I've been paying for their service, and I canceled it yesterday. So because I saw that and I went, man, like there are some lines you can't cross, and how that's even so it was beyond, ooh, that's just wrong. But it was, I just said, I can't do it. Can't support that. So,
So what has been the nature of the blowback? What has happened thus far?
I saw an article that said they've lost $9 billion in market value in 4 days or 3 days.
Wow.
$billion in market value. I don't know if that's true. That part I don't know. That was a kind of one of those headlines I saw, but look it up. The movie's called Cuties. It's playing on Netflix right now.
No, thank you.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And it just blows me away that, I can remember back in the day when the Blue Lagoon came out and
Brooke Shields. Yeah. Come on with it.
17. How old was she? 16?
She wasn't 18. She was
underage.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a huge uproar over, I don't know if there was
Christopher Atkins. Is that right? Did I pull that rabbit out of the hat?
Yeah, who was later on Dallas, in fact.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So that's why I've held on to that memory, is because, 40 years down the road, Glenn, you're going to have a talk show and this subject will come up and you'll be able to call his name. Christopher Atkins. Does he still act? Do we know?
If you call that.
But what were you going to say about that movie? Just the fact that she was underage?
She was 14. Brooke Shields was 14.
Oh, was she 14?
And it says here, all of her nude scenes were performed by the film's 32-year-old stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
However,
but still, that's
I'm going to guess, if that's your defense in court, if you go, well, Your Honor, I got to be honest with you, I was smitten with Blue Lagoon. I'm not seeing that hold up really well in court.
I from what I understand, there's I don't know if it's happening or what, but it's gotten the feds' attention for distribution of child pornography. And, it just blows me away that like somebody at the top, way up at the top of Netflix hey, we got a multi-billion-dollar thing going on here. Why don't we pull that? Like, let's just pull it. Everybody's pissed off. I've seen thousands of reports on social media of people saying, I'm done. There's it was trending on Twitter yesterday or 2 days ago, #cancel Netflix. It was trending. And if it's trending on Twitter, that means it is getting a lot of freaking attention. And so if you look up #cancel Netflix, you'll find out everything you need to know about it. And they are defending it. Jeffrey Wolf is right. The media is defending it, saying that it's a French award-winning film, which is true. It was an award-winning film at something. And
there's always not watching it. There's always that, right? There is that, and I have to say, because the Netflix organization has been very kind to my daughter. Yeah, she works for Netflix and has for a couple of years, and it is the favorite job of her life. She does music licensing for them, and they have treated her in a golden manner. So I'd be hard pressed to have a dark opinion. It could simply be that somebody in a decision-making capacity overlooked something, and they underestimated the response of the public. And I'm just theorizing here that maybe, just maybe, that with the Jeffrey Epstein stair stepping that was shown, this Filthy Rich project that was on Netflix, that possibly with that they went, maybe there's an appetite for this sort of thing from the curious, just as viewers. This doesn't mean that people are into the behavior in droves. It could just mean that people are curious, and they made the mistake of putting that one on, which probably didn't push the envelope fully, but it did reveal what his manner was for those who weren't completely familiar with the Epstein case. And now, all of a sudden, they pushed it too far, thinking, well, if they like this, then maybe they'll like this. And they just made a really, really bad decision. And I agree, Ken, they should just pull it and be done with it and chalk it up to a poor decision.
That's it. Fire the guy if you have to, but like pull the thing and because look, they pull it, and they don't put anything like that up ever again, and do some sort of like, hey, whoops, we're sorry, we should not be showing a film like that. Period. Like that's it, and be done with it. I'll resubscribe tomorrow. But it's like, and I know thousands of other people, if not I don't know how many. If it's cost them $9 billion in estimated market value, that's a lot of money.
So you mean you would re-earn their respect if they cowboyed up and got rid of it?
Absolutely.
I think that is very forgiving of you and even admirable.
Yeah, I mean,
because shouldn't we? I mean, in theory, don't we all have things that we'd like to pull from the schedule of our lives? If we look back at the things that we've aired through our own behavior, of things that we aired and we allowed, and then we go, kind of wish I'd pulled that one out of the playbook, and disallowed it. And then we hope that people won't hold it against our network, which is us,
right?
And then just say, you made a bad choice with that, but in the future, here's your feedback. And I think in order for a network to do that, they're going to have to show ownership. Someone's going to have to say that they made an error, and they did not know that the public would be so disgusted by it. But clearly that's been the reaction.
Yeah.
And in droves at a large enough level where it's you can't ignore it. What is Robert Brooker saying? Hi, Robert. Welcome. Are you coming aboard late?
Scott, what do you have to say about it? Anything? You're reading.
I just noticed Netflix stock is up $1.25 in weekend trading, and
wow,
you know what that is? It's profit takers. It's
people buying it when it was low.
People buying the low, trying to make money on the stock.
Yeah,
but I read the most interesting article this week about why there isn't more journalistic aggressiveness on this subject. And it was really interesting. It's something I never thought of before. It is that it is the one subject a journalist can't research.
Oh.
And I'd never thought of that before, that if a journalist gets on the dark web and starts trying to, for example, if a journalist wants to do a story about, pick a time, the drug trade in Indianapolis. Part of what they've got to do is to dig into the underworld. You can't just sit in your office and do. You've got to learn about what's happening. So how do you learn about what's happening without
looking into it?
Without looking into it, and it is a crime to look into it. And let's face it, it is one of the stock things that abusers typically say when they're arrested. Right. They go through the process of setting up, we've read tons of stories of this. This happened. An arrest happened to an influential person in Indiana not long ago, where he set up a meeting with a young person, and even the texts were, oh, the younger, the better. Well, then when he shows up at the arranged time, and it's not a young person, it's really the police that are grabbing an alleged predator. He says, well, I wanted to get the boy here so I could talk to him and change his life. That's a typical excuse, right? And you could also say, well, I was just investigating this so I could do a story or a blog post or whatever. I get why we have to be, but it never crossed my mind, because I've always thought, why isn't there more about this? Why don't we read more about how horrible this is? And that was what the reporter said. you can't investigate that story without casting doubts and aspersions about yourself. And somewhere we've got to find, and I'm not smart enough to know what it is, but somewhere we've got to find what we can do so that these predators can be exposed. And it's endemic. It's the system. It's not just we need to pick off one or two here and there, although anything helps. But who's putting this stuff out? Who's filming it? Who's
right? Scott, I don't know if you ever saw the guy I had on my show, Breakthrough Walls, Anthony Green, and he pops on here once in a while. He's a very big man that is a truck driver, and he has an organization called Truckers Against Predators, TAP. And he runs the roads from St. Louis to down into Arizona and parts over in there and Texas. And he has a team of these gals that they play. I forget what he calls them, but they're basically decoys. That's what he calls them. And they get on these apps and they start talking to these men, and these men think they're talking to these 12-year-old girls or these. It's horrific stuff, and they send pictures, and they send and they show up to these truck stops or these places to meet,
and then they nab them,
and they're meeting with Anthony Green, and he's a big dude. Oh yeah, you don't want to show up and meet with Anthony Green. And I mean, he Facebook Lives the whole thing and has taken some of these people down, man. And I mean, but there's places like in Texas, for example, it's not a crime until the act has been committed, until they've actually assaulted a minor. It's not a crime in Texas. And so, Anthony's working with these organizations to get laws changed and things like that. But there's a lot of places like that it's not a crime until the predator has actually committed the act, which is mind-blowing and mind-boggling to me.
And what is the defense until that point, Your Honor? I was just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm serious. What is the defense there?
No, and honestly, that's what is often said, and what the former college president in Indiana said was that, well, really, I just wanted the boy to meet me so I could talk to him about changing his life.
Right.
So,
I was actually there to rescue the child.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time to watch the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott, we are the only talk show that within 40, what are we at now? 53 minutes, we can travel from Secretariat and what it means to live life with a big heart and win the Kentucky Derby in less than 2 minutes all the way to sex trafficking. We'll be back after these words. By the way, I want to applaud you, Ken, because this is I rewatch every show, and to my knowledge, you are this is only the second time that you've led on Ooh, That's Just Wrong. Yeah. And I mean, you came out with a vengeance tonight. So we're still in the game here. Yeah. And Scott, we need to hear yours, and I have one as well.
Go. I need to think for a minute. I'm so distracted by this conversation that it's a great conversation.
I'm not trying to stop the conversation. I'm applauding the fact that Ken really ignited the bunch tonight and led with fervor. Mine was really simple, and it was this afternoon when we were watching yet another bad Gilligan's Island movie. This has become a fun thing for us, only this one was just intolerable, and so we stopped it. Imagine that. We stopped it before it ended, and we started talking about shows from that period. And I mentioned a show I haven't thought of in years today. I didn't bother to look it up, but I was just remembering the show, and I know you'll remember, and probably Ken, but I know you will, Scott, The Courtship of Eddie's Father.
Oh, wow.
Remember that one? That was way back when. Bill Bixby.
I was going to say Bill Bixby, right?
Bill Bixby, right, was his father. And I said, and I actually said this. It wasn't a trick question. We weren't even playing around. But I said to Carolyn, I said, do you remember the kid's name, the character? And she went, the character, his name. God, what was it? And she really went on a mental search. And then she goes, was it Eddie? And I said, yes, it was Eddie. How did you pull that rabbit out of the
Oh, wow.
The point is, ooh, that was just wrong that she went on about a 30-second search. And I, so it turns out I'm married to Einstein, which is great. And Eric wants to see me eat. Well, I'll promise you, if I eat this week, it's going to be a new mango ice cream bar because I love my mango ice cream. Scott, what was yours? Did you think of one?
I had a bit of presidential trivia based on that, Glenn, and that is, which president is buried in Grant's tomb? Ken?
Wait, what? What was the? I'm trying to produce at the same time for the record.
Okay.
Which president is what?
Buried in Grant's tomb?
Grant?
Yes.
Is that your ooh? That's just wrong.
Oh no!
Oh.
It was the what was the name of the?
I got
what was the
now.
name
I
of the
got
kid in
one
the
for
show
next
course
week.
of Eddie's father just made me think of the that. Tammy and I went to dinner. We had a fabulous.
Happy anniversary, by the way.
Thank you. It's the anniversary of our first date, not of our marriage, but our
Still an anniversary.
And our first date was on 9/11. I mean, not the big day 9/11, but so we always do something celebratory on that night just to balance out, everything with that day. Yes. That's good.
So true. Poor Care. I'm more.
Oh, she laughed when I busted her. Go ahead.
Oh, did she?
So,
yeah, she did.
So, man, we had a fabulous dinner. The first time at this place, it's called Le Cave. I thought it was Le Cave, but they pronounce
it. they can't charge as much if it's called Le Cave.
If it's Le Cave, the price is to be better. Right? But anyway,
Oh my God.
It was great. It's a kind of a fusion tapas but food was fabulous. Service was incredible, great. But here's the that's just wrong. There was a table and socially distanced and everything, but it was set for 6 people, and it was the 6-10 feet away. And so 2 couples arrive and they're waiting on the 3rd couple. Several times the server, who was also our server, who did a just wonderful job with us, goes over and says, would you like a drink? Can I get you anything while you wait for the other, would you like to order an appetizer? No, we're going to wait on the other couple. We're going to wait on the other couple. We saw her ask them repeatedly how she could be of help. Is there anything that you do? So now the other couple comes in. They're 20 minutes late. They sit down, and the first thing the other 2 couples go, so where's our server? We can't get any help around here. You've tied up her table for half an hour in a time that restaurants are, it varies from state to state, but it's 25% capacity or 50% capacity. And so the only way these servers are making money is turning what tables are available. They've held this table hostage for 30 minutes. And then the first thing they do is complain because she's not there waiting on the arrival of the late couple. And maybe it's because Tammy was a server years and years ago. I mean, before we met, but it just bugs me when, I hate poor service, but I also hate poor customers.
Oh, no doubt.
Right. So
everyone at some point in their lives, Scott, should have to be a waiter.
Yeah.
Have to, just to bolster compassion. Have either one of you guys done this? This is a fun one to do. And man, I'll just tell you ever want to make a waiter's night? And if you want to wait, if you feel like it's too flashy, then wait till you get a surprise check. Wait till you get a little extra. Wait till you have an exceptionally good month. But go into a nice restaurant with friends of yours and you want to visit, and just tell the server you want to buy the table for the night. And give them way too much money and tell them I was a server. I understand what you're up against. So off of one table, I've already calculated, I can give or take what you're going to make off this one table.
Yeah.
If you turn it 3-4 times in a night. And so here's 6 times what you would make, and that will more than cover you. You'll walk away ahead, but we're not interested in being rushed. And thank you for your time. We get you and we respect you. They feel instantly gotten. Like that's called speaking fluent waiter,
Yeah.
right? You're fluent in wait staff language. And they just love you. This dude over here just paid me for the evening to rent the table. And you'll never be rushed that way.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
It's just one of the things that are out there in the world that if you're feeling spunky, you don't have to do everything mainstream. I love handing people extra money in a fast food thing because you know they're not getting rich. And if you just give them something and say, that's the warmest greeting. I always commend someone and will tip them if they give me an exceptionally warm greeting over the intercom. I'm an acknowledger. So, and sometimes, not often, but a few times, I've had them hand it back to me and they go, we can't take any tips. I'm sorry. And I'm going, wow. So you're just nice because you're nice, which is awesome. But when I can, I like to acknowledge people with a little extra dough in their pocket, just so they can feel appreciated instead of being subjected to gimme, and not much of a thank you.
Scott, I have a funny Vegas story. Well, I have a lot of funny Vegas stories, but
and some sad ones too.
Oh God, we won't even talk about those. But I was told that when I first moved out to Vegas, I was told that if you want a great parking spot when you pull in, because if you live in Vegas, you drive your car everywhere, and so I drove. My wife Jill and I went to one of the places down on the Strip, and I think I forget which, Caesars maybe, whatever. And I pull up, and I was told that when you pull up, you just hold a $20 bill out the window, and they will just really take care of you. And so this guy comes up, I hand him a 20. He's like, "Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll put you up top." And I said, "All right, cool. Don't know what that means, but it sounds cool." So he gives me and we come back. I have a picture of this somewhere. I'll have to find it. But we come, mind you, we're in a Honda minivan. Okay.
I know where this is going. I bet. Yeah.
We come out of the place and I'm like, holy crap. There's our freaking van right in front of us, right when you walk out of the place, sitting right in between a Lamborghini and a Porsche or something. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Our minivan is in between these two $250,000 cars. I was just,
all of a sudden you're Chevy Chase in National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation. That sounds like a scene out of Vegas Vacation.
I said, "Jill, hold on. I got to get a picture of this." And she said, "No, get in the car. Let's go." I said, "No way. I'm getting a picture of this. I got a picture somewhere." But yeah.
So now we're done with sex trafficking and we're talking about Vegas stories. Scott, what do you have? You got to have a lot of them, man. I got too many Vegas stories. We still haven't heard your "ooh, that's just wrong" completely.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, just how rude those people were, and just the lack of appreciation of how hard that server was working. And it struck us too because the manager, as they always do, comes over, says, "How is it?" And we struck up a conversation, and he was saying, this is a very successful restaurant at the Wynn Hotel, and we've only got 3 people on full time.
Wow.
And what we were trying to do is to rotate servers. So instead of working, 5 days, you might get 1 or 2. And he said that way we can at least keep some people on and some not, but we're just doing the best we can. And and he said, "How do you plan?" He said, "Labor Day, we were covered up. He said, the other thing is people then now aren't showing up. They'll make reservations at 3 different restaurants because of the reduced capacity. And then they don't cancel. They don't do anything. And so then we turn people away because and he said, "So do you overbook like the airlines?" and then people who have a reservation now you can't see them? Or do you? And he said it's really, really a quandary about what do you do?
What do you do? You know, this isn't a that's just wrong because I've already shared that one, but I do have a that's just COVID. I have a that's just COVID story, which is it was kind of funny. Honestly, it's the first COVID humor I've really located. But today I actually watched a head coach in one of the NFL games. I thought this was too funny. Ken, you would appreciate this. I know Scott will, but you would appreciate this, my brother. The coach is wearing a mask, and yet he was calling in a play, and he's holding up the playbook like this. And I'm thinking, why? Why? What are you? Your face is already hidden. So a masked coach today, I watched it on national TV, actually went like this because he didn't want anyone to see the play.
Oh my dear God. Oh,
am I wrong to laugh at that?
No, that's hilarious.
Man,
that's great.
You know,
did you see what Brad just said?
What?
Explain why the coaches, some staff, and some refs wear masks, but the players don't.
Well, Brad, here's the deal. We would welcome you to come on and share that with us.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about inviting you because I realized it was opening day for the Cowboys and the Rams, and Brad, like me, is a Cowboy fan, but I have a show to do, and you might have a game to watch. But if you want to come shed some light on that, Brad Leland, Ken, you can work that out, right?
I'll send him the link right now.
So, Brad, if you want to come discuss for a little bit and pull away from the game,
let's see if I
and
can.
if not, we'll just have you come visit us on another week.
Yeah, we're not going to be on here much longer, Brad. So come on in, man. I'm going to send you a message.
So we may be getting ready to have the one, the only, the inimitable Brad Leland, but he hasn't said yet. So he may play.
Best known for his absolutely amazing role
in Friday Night Live on Magnum PI. You know, there's a chance Brad could have done that show.
I'm kidding.
I caught him in a
Friday Night
rerun
Lights, man.
Yes, he played the character of Buddy Garrity, and Buddy Garrity was many a Friday Night Light viewer's favorite character. A lot of people responded to Buddy, especially good old boys. People
he said, "Let's do next week."
Yeah, he's playing hard to get.
I just sent him the link in Messenger, though. He could get crazy and say, screw it, just let's jump on here.
Yeah, he may change his mind, especially when he considers that I'm going to call him out right now, because we've asked Brad to be the guest for the last, I think it's like 3 months straight. And every week, it's the same answer. Let's do it next week, Glenn. Let's do it next week, Glenn. So this is going to be another one of those times, and we're going to wait it out. But I'm going to tell you in advance that next Sunday, we're going to hear, let's do it next week, Glenn. Why? Well, the Cowboys are on. I love you.
They're not on Sunday night, are they?
They're on right now, yeah, but they wouldn't be 2 weeks in a row. But I don't know who the Cowboys have next week.
It's 7-7 Rams and Cowboys right now in a brand new stadium. That has got to be the first time. Now, did the Vegas team play today, Scott?
Yes, they did, but in Carolina, they
okay. So is this history making that the first time in the history of the NFL that a game was played to no fans in a brand new stadium?
I would have to think so. Yeah.
I mean, think about that. And when they built that stadium, when they first built it, they never dreamed we are going to premiere to no one live other than the televised audience. Look at this, Brad. You got people. Susan, my friend from Virginia Beach, is saying Brad rules.
Look, Magnum PI was the linebacker in the film. What, is that true?
Hey,
Tom Selleck?
Brad Leland, we'll stay on longer, a little longer if you will come. Don't make me beg.
Brad.
Don't make
pressure, but come on, Brad.
Don't make me beg. We don't beg at the Ken, Glenn, and Scott show. We don't do that.
We don't.
A little bit we do. Scott, let's see.
We had Brad Sham. We had Brad Sham on.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and I might add, without resistance.
Zero resistance.
He was fantastic.
And he didn't play hard to get at all.
I will do it next week in French or Portuguese.
Your call, Glenn. See, he always calls me Glenn.
That is funny.
Brad has jumped in my car and said, "Where are we going to dinner, Glenn?" That's what we used to do in Austin. He had a cool pad. He had a cool crash pad.
Where?
In Austin. When we were there filming, I was staying in a hotel. He's like, "I'm not staying in a hotel. I've been in a hotel too long. I'm going to get a new nice place, Glenn."
He said, "I'm naked."
I'm naked. Watching football naked. Everybody heard it. Brad Leland is watching football
Oh,
naked.
jeez. Lisa Patrick said, "Perfect."
Lisa's ready to see you come on the show naked.
Oh, God.
You better not.
You
Better not. All right. So where were we in this fabulous adventure?
By the way, the Cowboys have the Falcons next week.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
In the early game. So there will be no
It was
conflict.
wild to see Brady out there. Tom Brady wearing a
Yeah.
Bucs uniform, and they lost in their premiere to the new Washington team, which are they just called Washington football?
No, Brady lost to New Orleans.
That's right. That's right. Washington beat Philadelphia.
Yes.
And that's the game actually that I had watched where I saw the coach covering up like this. But what are they called, Scott?
Right now they're
Redskins.
They've kind of done like a Premier League soccer kind of thing. They are known as the Washington football team this year.
Wow, that's really creative.
Yeah.
That's cutting edge. I wonder who thought that one up in an effort to offend no one. Were there a lot of people that were offended? I don't remember that.
You know, it was kind of interesting because according to what I read, even the Native American community was divided to some degree. They're less divided.
To the point where they insisted that a football team change its name?
Yeah, well,
wow.
Braves and Indians is certainly not as pejorative a term
as the Redskins.
Redskins, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
So are they not changing their names?
The Braves haven't. The Cleveland Indians are talking about changing their name.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that the Braves, the tomahawk chop,
yeah,
they got rid of that years ago.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They mailed it to Kansas City.
Yeah, well, and see,
they do that all the time in KC.
Yeah.
I just, oh my gosh.
Don't get me started, Ken Walsh. Don't get me started.
Yeah, you don't want to get me started.
I know we don't.
Come on, man. I mean, it's so easy to get offended. Scott, your beard offends me, bro. I'm sorry.
Is there anyone left in our nation who isn't offended by something?
No.
No, I mean it. Where's it? I'm with you. This is one where I'm with you, Ken.
Dude, it's like, you know, when I was in 7th grade, and I know I am a lot younger than you guys. I'm just kidding. When I remember in 7th grade, there was a kid.
When is Ken's 60th birthday? Everyone chime in. When is Ken Wall's 60th birthday?
It's we still got a lot of time. By the way, my sister's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Melanie, my older sister.
Birthday, Melanie. So when you were in what grade? 6th grade?
I was in 7th grade. There was this kid. Every day, him and I would get into a fight. Every day. It was just the thing we did. And we got into a fight in this one class that everybody knew this you don't do that in his class, because he had a paddle that was about 2 feet long, and it was solid hardwood paddle, and he had holes drilled through it so it wouldn't have as much wind resistance on his swing. And you did not want paddled by this guy. And like that's what happened. And you know, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, you know, dude, you know what, you watch what the heck you did in his class. You did not. I mean, we got paddled by this guy. Well, this kid that I fought all the time. I'm not going to mention his name, but like, because I beat him up every time. But anyways, I will say that he never gave up. But like, this kid, we got taken out in the hall after this fight in this class, social studies, and this teacher cracks him first. He's like, who's going first? And I was like, dear God, please let him say me. And he did. And I was like, thank you. He cracks this kid, and this kid, it lifts him off the ground, and he says, son of a bitch, and grabs his ass and runs down the hallway, down the stairs, and out the door of the school and ran away. They caught him like hours later in a cornfield hiding. And they forgot about paddling me. I was like,
Did you ever get paddled in school, Scott?
I never got paddled in school.
oh, geez.
I got paddled one time, and listen to this lame reason why I got paddled. I was involved with blowing spit wads. I wasn't caught.
That's the best.
And the perpetrators were caught, but I was in it. And because of my conscience, I followed them to the principal's office and turned myself in for a paddling.
Oh, my God.
I was not caught. They took the other guys off to the office, and I sat there experiencing the Jewish guilt, right? And I sat there, and I'm thinking, this is not right. It's not right, because I was in on it with them, and I thought, and I'll add, I thought wrong, that if I turned myself in, I would be granted the concept of leniency. And someone would go, man, that's big of you, son, because you didn't have to. We wouldn't have known. And he was like, bend over. And that was it. But I got to give the guy credit. His name was Billy Laws, and it was at E.D. Walker Middle School. That's the only guy who ever whooped me. And he did. And I'm not making fun, but Billy Laws sounded like this. It was great. I'm serious. This was Billy Laws. And Billy Laws goes, you're going to have to do me a favor. He goes, I want all three of you guys. This was what happened behind doors. He said, I want all three of you to scream. And if you don't scream, I'm not going to hit you soft. That's what he told us. He wanted us to scream when he hit us. And he did actually beat us with the paddle, but it wasn't that hard. But he wanted us to go into the role of being an actor and have people outside going, oh my God, he's beating them boys, on the inside. And so every one of us got an Oscar that day for overacting for being paddled. And that was the only time I ever got whooped. We have a couple of people chiming in about what offends them. Robert Brooker said he's never been offended, but then again, he's Canadian. And then Karen Toddy said that she was offended by Brad Leland not getting online.
I know. Come on, man. Come on, Brad.
I got to tell a quick paddling story. Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
What
Charles, with that. So at the old school, as we called it at Crothersville, which was the school building in my hometown that like my grandfather went to, my mother went to, and I started there. And it had everything from kindergarten through high school when they went there. And the boiler room was downstairs. So you would go down this, these concrete steps to take you into the basement where the coal-fired furnace was, but that's also where they would take you to paddle you. So my grandfather was the center on the basketball team and a rough guy, and he and another guy, a friend, but they got in a fight, just guys, but they decided they were not going to be paddled. And my grandfather said about the principal, I'll fight him if you fight him. I'm not going to take a paddling. The other guy swore absolutely he would do it. So the principal and my grandfather are going down these concrete steps into the boiler room, and the principal forgot the duck. This is kind of full circle with the blading, and he hit his head right here. So he started bleeding.
Oh, no.
So my grandfather bends over and he takes his licking. But as he comes back up the steps, he looked at his friend. He went, so his friend says, "My God, you ain't gonna whip me." He wrestled the principal, which of course then gets him expelled. And the principal, the principal, who was a big tough guy, bigger and tougher than this guy thought. But they joked about that till my grandfather's dying day. Just that.
That's almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I want to read Robert Rooker's. He's written us a novel, and I can read the whole thing off to the side. It says, spitballs were a thing then, but I discovered what happens when you take the refill out of the pen and then press the end into an orange peel. You need to tape up the hole in the middle, push that halfway in, then press another round of the peel and use the refill to push the second bit of peel. This is a lot of instructional information here, Robert. Use the refill to push the second bit of peel while aiming at your friend. You would hear pop hitting the friend, then ducking back down while the teacher's head would pop. I guess you mean us, or up. It says us, pop, and you would hear, what is that sound? Wow. Wow. And you're right. It was a Bic pen. You wrote later, a Bic pen, that is. That was the weapon of choice in those days. You just pulled out the cartridge and loaded it with a spit wad. But maybe there's a whole generation of people now who don't even know what a spit wad is.
I taught my 10-year-old daughter in a restaurant one night how to do that when she was still 9. And I thought her mom was literally going to stab me in the throat.
Right. Well, anytime you can get your own saliva all over some chewed up paper and then blow it into someone's head, I think you've made your best.
I told her, I said,
choice.
honey, see that waitress way over there across the restaurant? If you can hit her, I'll give you $10. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't.
Robert just said, sorry, I suffer from excessive context disease.
That's funny. Oh, that's pretty good.
Do a telethon for ECD.
Yeah, right. Right.
Why haven't we ever had Robert come on as a guest?
We need to.
Or Charles Coachman?
Yeah.
That's
we
all
need
right.
to.
What did Susan say in Catholic Junior High? Sister Ann, our principal, used to call you down to her office over the whole school PA system. She would announce to everyone, full name, get your bones down here. She said it was mortifying. Wow.
I'm sure. Wow. So we have covered a lot of material tonight. I think we would have had even more had Brad Leland taken us up on. And I know now I'm looking at in the background, I can see where I sent Brad the message.
Yeah.
I'm now stuck in his other folder on Facebook because we're not friends on Facebook. So
is he naked, or naked as we call it in Texas? Is he naked in the folder anywhere? Do we see that?
No.
Do we know?
No.
Good.
Thank God.
Oh, he's naked in the living room, evidently.
Yeah, watching the Cowboys.
What is it about watching football that makes a grown man want to be naked?
I've never.
Billy, have you ever seen a grown man naked? Wasn't that the kid's name on the airplane?
Yeah.
Billy or Tommy.
I think it was, or was it Tommy? Billy? What?
Tommy, have you ever seen a
Great
grown
trivia
man
question.
nude?
Peter Graves. What
Scott, your camera just got blurry. What happened?
I don't know.
Billy. I think it's Billy. If anyone knows the answer to that, what did Peter Graves call the kid in the cockpit when he asked him if he'd ever seen a grown man naked? Can you imagine how PC that would not be considered in today's world? that would never play in today's world.
No.
Glenn will know this. Kid. Let's see who else knows this. Peter Graves's brother.
I do know who that is.
You'd know this.
His character name, initials MD, from his series.
Oh, Brad says he can't see the link. Brad, it's in Facebook Messenger, but it would say
Scott, you heard me right?
Yeah.
MD.
MD. Yeah.
It would be under message requests since we're not friends on Facebook.
Guys, come on, TV fans out there. Scott posed a question. Who was his brother?
Peter Graves's brother.
Peter Graves, the white-haired gentleman from the Airplane film.
June Cleaver speaking jive. That's funny.
Yes, that was funny. She said, "I speak jive." Yeah, Billy. That's what I said. It was Billy.
Billy.
So I got to interview
It's Joey.
Joey. Joey, have you ever seen it? And
Grown
don't
man
call me
in the-
Shirley.
Did you verify that, Susan? Did you look it up?
She's
No,
normal.
not Marcus Welby, MD, but nice
MD.
guess, Robert. You got the MD.
What's the question again?
There you go. Randall Reeder has it.
Oh,
That's correct.
MD, Matt Dillon. James Arness was his brother,
And I believe it was Marshall Dillon, wasn't it?
Marshall Dillon. And Matt Dillon, too, was his name.
Oh, really?
Remember, because Festus is always go, Matthew?
Oh, that's right.
what was that show? What was it?
Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke, baby.
Gunsmoke. Yeah.
I remember having a crush on Miss Kitty.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone's favorite character from that show was Festus.
The other thing, and one of my great friends is a guy named Alpha Trivet, and he is an actor based in Atlanta. And we were FFA officers together, but he has been in a lot of the Tyler Perry things. Who knows, Glenn? You may cross paths with him sometime because he does.
In ATL?
Yeah. And when he was doing stand up, he used to do this bit on Gunsmoke because he could do impressions of everybody on Gunsmoke. He said, "Did you ever notice when Doc was talking, he'll say, Festus, that beats all." What kind of
He'd
Doc?
always sniff.
He'd always sniff and rub his nose. And he said, "Now that's the guy you want taking the bullet out of you?" Well,
You know who else used to do that bit? I mean, it's really funny for a medical doctor, but you know who used to sniff before he would give a line? Don Knotts.
Oh, Don Knotts.
As Barney Fife, he'd like, well, Ange.
Yep, you're exactly
Well,
right.
Ange. He'd take a big sniff.
So
Funny.
the Doc was played by
I don't know.
Milburn Stone.
Would not have known that.
And one of the great things you can download, I drove for a long time listening to this. There was a radio program called Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar. Have you ever listened to any of that?
No.
It is so great.
Surely we can cut to that for a moment. I need to see a clip from that or hear something.
It's a radio
I
program.
know, but they got to have something on YouTube about it, don't they?
And several different actors over the course of the show played Johnny Dollar. Ed O'Brien. It was a character actor. But
Yeah, I remember Ed O'Brien.
yeah, okay. So Bob Bailey, I'll look this up.
You got me intrigued.
Bob Bailey was the one that was best known for that. But so many of the actors who ended up like the guy that played Floyd the Barber, it was like a regular, but would play different roles.
Watch this. Howard McNear.
Yes.
Come on with it.
That is, man. Here we go. Yours
That
truly.
one was in my noggin. Why? Because that show was my favorite show in history.
The cool thing about Johnny Dollar was he was an insurance investigator, and it always come on, and it was almost like a parody. But the show was serious. But they always say the man with the action-packed expense account. I always thought that was such a great line. The action-packed expense account.
I think Howard McNear, the story on him was that he had polio. And that's why toward the end of the series, you didn't see him for 2 seasons. He didn't move. He sat.
No kidding.
Yeah, he sat down. He wasn't behind the barber chair anymore. And you'd see him out front sitting. Andy. Andy.
Oh, that's so
was-
good.
That was perfect.
Okay, you guys want to hear the start of this?
Yes.
We're just about the end of time here, but let's see here. We got to hear. You just got to hear the beginning of this because it's so good.
I knew it would be on YouTube.
It's so
I love
old time
YouTube.
radio. It's so old time radio. It's so good.
From Hollywood, it's time now for
Johnny Dollar.
Joe McNabb, Northeast Indemnity, Johnny.
Oh, hi, Joe. What's up?
At the moment, my blood pressure.
Too much work?
No. prospect of having to pay off on a $100,000 life insurance policy.
Uh-oh.
Fella, I think you know Johnny, Art Wesley.
Oh, sure. Been a pal of mine for years. Reporter.
Yeah. Apparently he's working on a story right now that somebody doesn't want him to report.
What do you mean?
Night before last, he got beat up in an alley. Yesterday, a car made a pass at him at high speed.
What about today?
It's early yet, Johnny.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, let's hope it's not too late.
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
What was that from?
I love both of those guys' voices.
Oh, aren't they great? And Jones says, I love Johnny Dollar. I just can't get enough of it. It is just so great to listen to as you're driving. You download it to your iPhone, and they're so well. And you know what? They're really well written. I mean, given the format for the time. But
all right, so let me offer this gift to you guys and go old school. If you've never seen this, you're gonna flip. And if you've seen it many times, one more will just still bring a smile to your face. Scott, have you seen Johnny Carson's Who's on First routine with Jack Webb?
No. Jack.
Right now, it's not Who's on First, but it's the equivalent.
Yeah.
It's a Who's on First theme. Just put Johnny Carson, Jack Webb. Ken, did you ever watch Jack Webb in Dragnet?
Nope.
Brother?
Before my time.
Really? All right, well, it's still going to make your day. So Jack Webb does the Jack Webb persona, and this is one of the most clever bits Johnny Carson ever did on his show.
Oh, you can tell this is going to be good. Here we go.
I'm promising you.
I love
laughs.
Johnny Carson.
Well, then you're going to love this. This is very clever tongue twister humor.
Okay.
And I've had a couple of my actors do this as a scene in class. Did you find it?
Yeah, here we go.
The story you're about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
This is the city. Los Angeles, California. Some people rob for pleasure. Some rob because it's there. You never know. My name's Friday. I'm a cop. I was working the day watch out of robbery when I got a call from the Acme School Bell Company. There'd been a robbery. There's been a robbery. Yes, sir. What was it? My clappers. Your clappers. Yeah, you know those things inside the bell that makes them clang? The clangers. That's right, we call them clappers in the business. A clapper caper. What's that? Nothing, sir. Now, can I have the facts? What kind of clappers were stolen on this caper? They were copper clappers. And where was the caper? In the closet? Uh-huh. You have any ideas who might have taken the copper clappers from the closet? Well, just one. I fired a man. He swore he'd get even. What was his name? Claude Cooper. You think he... I think Claude Cooper copped my copper clappers. Kept in the closet. You know where this Claude Cooper is from? Yeah. Cleveland. That figures. That figures. What makes it worse, they were clean. Clean copper clappers. That's right. Why do you think Cleveland's Claude Cooper would cop your clean copper clappers kept in your closet?
He tried so hard not to break up.
Only one reason. What's that? He's a kleptomaniac. Who first discovered the copper clappers were copped? My cleaning woman, Clara Clifford. That figures. Now let me see if I got the facts straight here. Cleaning woman Clara Clifford discovered your clean copper clappers kept in a closet were copped by Claude Cooper, the kleptomaniac from Cleveland. Now, is that about it?
One other thing.
What's that?
If I ever catch kleptomaniac Claude Cooper from Cleveland who copped my clean copper clappers from kept in the closet,
Yes?
I'll clobber him.
And that's good.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah,
That
you've never seen that, huh? Is that a crowd pleaser?
That's
or
awesome.
what?
that is great. How the two of them kept a straight face throughout that. Oh my
And
God.
that's more fun than Jack Webb ever even thought about having. Because he
Oh,
was, he was known as Sammy Straightface.
yeah.
So to have Jack Webb agree to do that on national television was just
That's
too
so
much fun.
cool. By the
Wow.
way, if you haven't watched Sunset Boulevard for a while, Jack Webb has a significant role in Sunset Boulevard.
Oh my gosh. Was that that was probably pre-Dragnet, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. He's William Holden's best friend, or he's dating the gal that William Holden, is attracted to, and all that. And wow, Sunset Boulevard, whatever. But
And do you remember this one? 77 Sunset Strip. 77 Sunset Strip. Oh, we were very easily entertained in our youth.
Kooky, lend me your comb.
Wow.
You remember that?
You know what? We should do a whole show on like old television commercials.
Oh,
Just sit
This-
right back and you hear a tale of a fateful trip. Go ahead. Next line, Ken.
I don't know it. I know what it's
Scott?
from, but I don't know the
I
line.
wanted to say that Ken doesn't. Okay, 77 Sunset Strip was not a commercial; it was a television show.
Right.
Oh,
It was a hot show. But the valet Parker would always have a comb out and would comb his hair, and he even had a #1 hit song. And his name on the show was Kooky, and the name of the song was "Kooky, Kooky, Lend Me Your Comb." Ed Burns,
wow.
Ed Burns.
right? Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.
Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. I remember him.
And Roger Smith was the second there.
Oh my gosh. As the show is ending, we have a visit from the great Brad Leland.
Hey,
What's going on, Brad?
Hey, bud.
it's 13-7, LA.
Oh,
Yeah, it's okay.
How you been, baby?
Perfect.
Tell us something exciting going on in your life. How have you been managing during this COVID thing? Is there any end in sight for you work-wise? Do you have anything coming up? What do we need to know about?
You know what's coming is that picture I did with Robin Wright called Land. I'm excited about that. And Kim Dickens is in it too, who was in the show with you and I, Glenn, in Friday Night Lights. She was Jesse Plemons' mother. I mean, Matt Saracen's mother.
I love it. I also love that you're using Abraham Lincoln as your backdrop tonight.
You like that? Good.
Wait a minute. Now Scott will tell us all about Abe Lincoln. Other than the fact that he was the 16th president of the United States, watch this. There's no one who can do this better than Scott.
Nobody.
Okay. Scott,
Well,
tell us about Honest Abe.
what would you like to know? He spent most of his life in Indiana, by the way, being a Hoosier. That's something I want to emphasize. That Abe Lincoln. Let's see, what else can I tell you about Abe Lincoln? He was the great Abe Lincoln story was that he was in a wood splitting contest, and he was set down several times during the wood splitting contest, and the other guy kept chopping up the wood. And when the was over and the wood was measured, Lincoln had won, and the guy he beat said, "I don't get it. You rested and I didn't." And Lincoln said, "What you didn't know, sir, is that when I was set down, I was also sharpening my axe." Story.
Hey, nice close-up of your tummy there, Bradsky.
I'm trying to do this. See this? See this?
Yes.
I love that.
I love it.
I love that character. So
The dude abides.
I'm working on it. And the dude.
So it looks
Dude,
like it's a
that's
picture
awesome.
of you. right now. You have let your hair really grow long, bud.
I know. I'm doing a picture in Iceland in the spring, and so I have to have long hair and a beard. And so, first time in my life I've ever had long hair. It's kind of fun. But
all right, if you'll take yours off, I will too.
It's a hassle, buddy.
So,
It's a hassle.
well,
When did we go to Iceland? Holy cow, that sounds fantastic.
so listen, let me
Yeah.
introduce you, Brad. Please meet Ken Walls, and Brad Leland meet Scott McCain, my two
Nice to
cohorts
meet you,
in
buddy.
crime every Sunday.
Nice to meet you.
Hi guys.
Oh, wait, you're leaving?
No.
Oh,
I
that
said
was
hi.
hi. I thought you said hi. Jesus. So tell us about the movie in Iceland.
Yeah.
Well, it's an English production company. It's a German director, and it's a Dutch script. So
And
that's
they hired a Texan to do it. I love it.
no, it's cool. It's a role, and it won't be a Texan. It won't be Southern, but he's like a shaman, like a Merlin character, like a soothsayer, and he lives up in the mountains. And the lead girl always comes to him for advice. So I will tell her things like, "Clear eyes, full hearts can't lose," and right.
Let's see how many Friday Night Lights fans we have out there that remember that.
Oh, I bet you they know that one.
So Brad and I worked together on Friday Night Lights.
Forever.
He played such a great character with the character of Buddy Garrity, and people love Brad all over. And then I loved him so much that I said, "Hey, dude, we're making a movie. Mom and I are financing a movie. Will you come to our movie called Flutter?" And he came in and did a nice little guest spot with us there. And I'm thrilled to hear about this. Had you worked with these people in this Icelandic film you're doing? Had you worked with any of them before? Or did they just know your work?
No. Yeah, they just knew.
Are you shooting it in Reykjavik?
Yes.
Oh, man, that'll be fun. Have you ever been there?
I have not, but I probably never would unless somebody paid for it.
Yeah,
Right.
but isn't that the great thing about acting, honestly, is that we wind up visiting parts of the world that we might never have otherwise gone to. I've been to so many places. Morocco was not on a list of places that I needed to go visit, and yet Black Hawk Down made that possible. And I've been to Bulgaria and France and Germany and England. I've been all over, and they were all on movie shoots. And it's a great way to see the world. How long are you over there?
They say, it'll be at least a month. It
That's
may be longer.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And when are you going? In 2021?
Yeah, in the spring. But I got another one to do with the same guy I just did The Orphan Train with, and The Great Alaskan Race, same director. And we're doing a remake of White Fang, and we're shooting that. Hopefully, I think we're shooting it in Vancouver. We've been shooting everything up in Colorado, but they've got such a good deal in Vancouver now that the guys are, the producers are that 45% back to the producers is pretty enticing to go to Canada. So, and that's not in Colorado. So, as much as we love being there, we shot everything up in Silverton, Durango, Telluride. It's fantastic to be there. Pagosa Springs, one of my favorite places.
Oh, Pagosa Springs is beautiful.
Yeah. After work, you go get in the natural springs, and it's snowing, and the little town is below you in the river. It's a pretty relaxing way to come home from work. Pretty nice.
Hey, Brad, can you say, just give a shout out to Susan Laurel Rose, who is one of your biggest let me try that again. One of your biggest fans on the planet. Susan Laurel Rose. She watches us. See, look at that. I'm fangirling, Brad.
Hey, I'm fan Manning back. I'm fanboying.
Yeah, she loves you. You were her favorite character on Friday Night Lights.
Okay, Susan, where do you live?
While she's typing, I'll answer for her. Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Okay, it'll take me a couple of hours to get there on my little G-Jet. I got after the game.
After the game.
Hey, Cowboys take the lead, baby. 14-30, Bradsky.
Finally.
That's nice. We like that. Although I know Ken Walls doesn't. Ken Walls is a Steelers fan. Watch out.
This guy named Odell, do you know him from Lubbock?
Ernest.
I think I know him.
Yeah. Oh, you from your years over at Tech?
No, well, he's from. I was born in Lubbock, so it's possible.
Well,
You know,
where would you know him? Ernest Odell is one of our regulars. He never misses an episode of this show.
Sure.
Well, I didn't move to Dallas until Plano till 69. So,
we might point blank ask him right now. Just Ernest, do you know Brad Leland from
Ernest,
Lubbock?
are you 66 years old or somewhere close? I'll be 66 tomorrow or the next day.
Happy birthday, baby.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a 66-year-old, 16-year-old.
Yeah, we all are.
Hey, I have a the dude abides t-shirt, by the way, too.
You have one?
I have one. Yeah.
It's the truth.
It is absolute.
Do you know what the definition of abides is?
Talk to us.
Well, it's vague. It's abides is sort of all over the place. It's kind of, it's basically, I'm okay with it. It's like, whatever, dude. It's just, the dude abides. I mean, whatever it is, you just abide. I don't know what that means.
Doesn't that mean if you abide, you go along with?
Yes.
Just chill.
Yes.
By the way, he just gave you his age. He is 67.
He's 67.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible we know each other.
Yeah. Wow.
So can you name a school? Did you guys go to grade school together, or what did you do?
Well, I went to Atkins and would have gone to Monterey. I went to Parsons and then Atkins, and then maybe I left and came to Plano. But I would have gone to Monterey.
Are we at halftime in the game? Is that why you're suddenly available?
Not exactly. I'm available because I put on clothes for you.
Well, thank you.
and I picked out something so that I could prove that I do and will abide.
That's awesome.
Within your show.
Tell you, I was sitting in my undershorts studying my dialogue for the movie I was doing with John Schneider, and I look up and I hear your voice, and you have a very distinguishable voice, and so I heard it and looked up, and there you were with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that? And then I looked for the date on it, and it said 2017. So was that a recurring role? Was it one and they fell in love with you? I don't watch the series, so I don't know.
Well, they keep telling me,
right?
They keep telling me this character's coming back. He hasn't yet, but it was so much fun. My agent said, they want you to do this sitcom with Tim Allen, and I knew about it, but I was like, dude, I don't really want to do a sitcom. I'm not a sitcom guy. And he goes, I promise you will stop that. I promise you will like that. And I got there and I loved it. I mean, I love the process because it's like where we grew up. It's like the stage. And so you rehearse all week and they change the lines every day.
Every day
they make them better and better. And they've got to get it into that exact 26 minutes or 24 minutes, whatever it is for a 30-minute show. And so every move, every bit of blocking, every bit of, is very well timed, and the lines have to be very precise. But it's 6 or 7 cameras. It's unbelievable. And then they have the live audience when you finally perform it. And what's even cooler is that when you finally perform it, you do the scene, and then they'll tell the audience, well, we're going to have them do it again so you can see how they can be directed and how the scene may change. And so we would do the scene. It's a finished product. They shoot it, and then the director says, hey, let's try it this way this time, do this. And it wouldn't change the blocking, but you change a little bit of it. And it's really fascinating for the audience, I think, to get to watch that process, watch us entirely, change an entirely already finished scene. And then what that led to, and what I really loved about it, is that led to me getting to play Scrooge at the Dallas Theater Center. And that had to be the highlight of my life so far, simply because I had not been on stage in 16 years. And
oh my gosh.
They called me up and they said, we want you to play Scrooge. I said, are you kidding me? They said, no, we want you to play Scrooge. I said, you've never seen me sing or dance. You've never even seen me on stage. And they said, oh, you can do it. And I'm like, oh, great. Glad you know that. You sure?
Was this at the Kalita Humphreys Theater?
Yeah, Dallas Theater Center.
Come on, touchdown. I love it.
And they had just won the Tony Award for Best Regional Theater. So I was elated, and they gave me a great contract in an apartment right next to the theater, so I could just live there, which you have to when you're doing 2 shows a day. And we did 50 performances in 30 days during Christmas, and it was by far, Ken and Scott, it was the greatest Christmas of my life, because I was 64 years old and I was playing again. You know, I was dancing with the one who brung me, and we made it through all 50 performances. I didn't get sick, and you know, it's 500 seater and it's packed. It's it's Scrooge, so it's an automatic standing ovation, and it's 500. It's packed the whole time. So you do 50 performances for 500 people, and they all love the show. Even sometimes when I'm sure we were crap, but they still love it because it's so well written in the music. Plus, everybody down there are, you know, highly trained professionals. So I was surrounded by great musicians and actors and crew, and I just loved it. It was truly sort of a boost. It was sort of like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing this for a long time, because this is why I do this. This is why we do this. I mean, this is where we started. So it was the greatest Christmas present I've ever been given, and probably the best Christmas present I've ever given. You know, that's the only way I could look at it.
And what's even better is they pay you for that.
Yes, they do.
I mean, that's the best of both worlds.
It really is, and they treat you they really treat you well. You know, they were it was very special, and they, you know, the clothes were unbelievable. I had authentic, you know, coat and suit and hat from London. Special people and a special time.
Did you know that that the play changed my life? That play with Ebenezer Scrooge, and I went to see it when I was 11 years old in that exact same theater, at the Kalita Humphreys Theater, and that is the one that made my decision for me to become an actor. I think that's pretty cool, Bud.
It is, and it's you know, it's the first time I saw professionals when I was in high school, because I was here in Plano, and of course we would go see the plays at the theater center, because that was the great Paul Baker, who was a tremendous teacher and was the founder. Of course, that theater, you know, I don't know if these guys know it, but that's the only theater that Frank Lloyd Wright
designed. Yep.
And it's still there. It's in Turtle Creek in Dallas.
I'll take you, Scott, Ken. You guys come down. I'll take you to the theater.
I'll be there later tonight.
Okay. Well, just let me know when your flight comes in. You're not going to.
I'm driving, man. I won't wear
I know your policy. Yeah, too cool. Do you have any? I don't know if you guys are fans. We've never talked about it, Ken. Are you and or Scott fans of Friday Night Lights? Did you ever watch the series? Yes. Well, Buddy Garrity was the world's biggest football fan.
Yep.
And nobody could have done more with that role than Brad. And I don't know if I've ever told you that, Brad, but you lit that role up. And it wasn't, you know, when it started out, he wasn't a series regular. That wasn't the original idea, but he just lit it up so much that they kept bringing him back, you know, and it turned into the equivalent of a series regular based on the actor's treatment of the role. And that's when you know you've done a great job, as they say, you know what, I don't think we're seeing enough of this guy. And it winds up being bigger than what the original plan called for. So I really salute you on that, Brad. I think that was incredibly well done.
Thank you. I tell you one thing, you know what the wonderful thing about it is? We did 75 episodes. I did 73. And those are some sweet residuals, buddy.
Yeah. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but from the look on your face, that doesn't appear to piss you off.
No. It's pretty amazing, because we've been off. I mean, we stopped shooting 10 years ago.
Right.
But we've been on the air ever since, someplace. So they keep sending checks.
Right.
And I go out and get them out of the mailbox.
I understand.
I don't give them to charity. I pay rent with them. The mortgage.
Right.
Said I don't give them to charity.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about your life tonight? That's awesome.
That
Well,
is awesome.
You
Hey,
wanna
guys,
hear-
I really apologize.
You got to run, Scott.
I do because it is noon Monday, or going to be noon in 5 minutes in Australia, and I am supposed to talk with an Australian client.
Go do it.
So I totally apologize.
Well, you can catch what you missed at a later
I
time.
will, and I look forward
Hey,
to.
thanks for a good show tonight,
And
Scott.
Yeah.
Brad, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's so great to see you and great to have you here. So thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Have a good week, Scott.
See you guys
Nice to
soon.
meet you.
We'll talk this week. See you guys soon. Thank you.
Look at there. You got the center square, Paul Len. Good for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, we'll give you full screen even if we need to.
Okay. You might to get the shirt in.
So go ahead. You were talking about how sweet residuals
If
are.
you turn your phone the other way, have you tried that? See if it'll. There.
Now we have horizontal.
Now see if you can get the full shirt in.
Now you totally replaced Abe Lincoln in the frame. Did you see that, Ken?
Yeah.
Set it at an angle where you take over for Abe Lincoln, Brad. I'm serious. If you get it the right angle, just take over for Abe, and all of a sudden it's Brad Leland as the 16th president of the United States
You know that.
with
know
George
that-
Washington's hairdo. I love
know-
it.
You know this famous painting, don't you?
Is he
I
wearing
know.
a mask?
Look at this. Look what's in it. This is a very famous painting.
Oh my gosh, I see that.
I can't see what's in it. Oh, is it somebody's legs?
It's
And rear end.
she's looking out the window and there's Abe again. It's the exact painting right there.
Oh wow.
You see it?
Whose legs are we looking at? Marilyn Monroe? Who is it?
It's his wife looking out the window. Look,
Oh, wow.
look who she is. See her?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
now I see it. Wow. That's very creative.
I'm sorry the lighting's weird.
No, it's fine. It's
But
good.
it's very creative, brother.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You know, the one thing I would want to talk about, I really want to talk about Land, because we shot that in Canada, and that was my experience with Robin Wright. And man, you know, before I went, I had this this thought of Robin Wright from House of Cards. Well, of course, she was also Jenny in Forrest Gump, and she was also the Princess Bride. But everybody thinks of her these days as House of Cards, and I'm thinking of this strong, powerful, regal, presidential, deceitful. She's an evil woman, and I get on the set, and she's like 5'2", 5'3", sweetest little person you ever met. She's like the real Jenny in Forrest Gump is what she's like. And so and then working with her, getting to work with her was as special as getting to work with probably anybody I've ever worked with, even Glenn. Working with Glenn.
I love the action with the tongue roll on the end.
Did we actually have scenes together? I don't know.
No.
I didn't know.
No.
But I bothered you during some scenes. I remember you were at the dinner table and I tried to invite myself over to dinner. And you're like, Brad, you're not in the scene. Leave my house. The director was like, what is he doing here? It was like the night, I don't tell this to
Didn't Brad get off a couple of hours ago? Why is he still here? Is that what was going on set?
I got to tell you, one of my favorite was this. So Connie and Kyle are having their bedroom love scene.
Wait, you gotta clarify who Connie and Kyle were.
Okay, Coach and Mrs.
No,
Coach.
but name first and
Tammy
last
Taylor.
names. Connie
Taylor,
and Kyle
Coach
Chandler.
Taylor. Yes, and T. Tammy Taylor. That's what I called her. And that's Connie Britton, Kyle Chandler. So they had these, not erotic, but these very wholesome scenes where they would be speaking to each other in bed and having little, talks and deciding what they're going to do. And this was a very little special, soft scene in their bedroom one night. And I was watching, waiting for my turn to do some scene. And I was in, it was hot and sweaty in Austin, Texas, and I had on a pair of gym shorts and a T-shirt, and I was still sweaty buddy like I always was during the entire show. And so I'm standing there next to the director, and they're in there, and it's quiet and intimate. And I said, Reiner, he was our producer and the director on that.
Jeffrey Reiner.
Jeffrey Reiner. I said, Reiner, on this next take, let me run in there and jump in bed with them. And he goes, oh man, that's hilarious. Yes, yes. And so they started rolling, and they're into this little talking to each other and touching each other's face, and faces this close. And here comes fat, sweaty buddy in gym shorts and a T-shirt. And I jumped in bed with him and tried to grab Connie, and she scooted out of there, as fast as she could. And she was screaming, going, yeah, buddy, gross. Hey, sweaty, gross. And of course, Kyle just sat up on the bed and didn't look. He just looked at me like he always did. Just
you look just
Did
like.
he try to remain in character?
What are you doing?
He's got the look.
I blew completely.
Wait.
blew
Ken wants you to do the Kyle Chandler face again.
Oh my God.
That looked like Kyle in many scenes from Bloodline, our series.
Oh my God.
When he got some bad news on the show.
Oh my God.
It is good, isn't it, Ken?
Oh,
That's funny, man.
That is freaking perfect.
That is funny stuff. Hey, do we have any questions for Brad while he's here tonight?
Did you crash the Taylor's sexy time?
Yes,
Oh.
I did, and it was fun.
Wow.
Connie smelled real good, and Kyle stunk.
Now we're talking about the aroma of the actors.
He,
That's funny.
he
Connie
always,
smelled good.
Oh my God, that's
Do we have
hilarious.
any questions? Hey guys, any questions for Brad?
Oh, I'm dying here.
I have to.
Now
We
it's
got to have some
Buddy
questions.
Ken over here. That is funny.
My friend in Virginia Beach probably has some questions.
She's
Susan.
she's laughing.
Susan, you're being called out for a question, darling. And
Susan.
Sam Sneed says that you remind him a little bit now of Denver Pyle with this new look that you're sporting.
Denver Pyle. Oh my gosh! I guess that's a compliment.
I mean, he's not entirely wrong. You do look a little Denver-esque with your long
Yeah.
hair and everything.
I used to get Kenny Rogers, but that hasn't happened in a while.
So Susan wants to know what episode was your favorite of FNL.
I would have to say that's impossible. I can tell you a scene that was one of my favorites, which was cut from the TV show. We were at an away game, and we were playing the Christian Town. Oh, are we still there?
Yep.
Okay, so we were playing the Christian Town, and they were very, let's just say they were not very nice to us because we were sort of mixed race, and we were, we were staying in a hotel, and so all the coaches and I were up in this hotel room playing poker the night before the game. And we'd had a couple of beers, and the scene is in the show where we're playing poker and we're having a couple of beers. But then Kyle goes to bed early, and the rest of the coaches and I stay in the hotel room playing poker. Well, eventually, they just started letting us go for it, and we just all of a sudden broke into a touch football game. Actually, it was a tackle football game in the hotel room.
Indoors.
With pillows. And we were throwing the pillows were the football. We were tackling each other on the bed, throwing each other over the thing. And we literally tore the hotel room to pieces. And there's beer bottles everywhere and cigarettes and cards. And, so we just had a blast and we all just went for it. And it was ferocious. And it was pretty amazing that none of us got hurt because we were seriously tackling each other, throwing passes, running through the room, diving into lamps. And it was so much fun. We just kept doing it. And they shot it. And then they were like, okay, let's shoot the next morning. So we all splayed out throughout this horrible, trashed out room, and one's on the bed, and one's draped over the couch, and this guy's in a chair, and one's on the floor, and we're all upside down, and we're hung over, and it's the next morning, and they start shooting the next morning. So everybody's all there, and it's very, very quiet, and I'm laying over there, and they say, action, and you hear, and they thought it was real, and I was making such real ones, and they all sounded different that they thought I was really doing it, and they were all going, stop it, stop doing that, Brad. That's real. I said, no, it's not, and they didn't believe me because I have some really good sound effects.
So when Brad said, admittedly, that he's 66 but 16 going on 66. And now he's on to demonstrate that.
Now you know why.
That's awesome.
But of course, they cut that scene. So the long answer is that was my favorite.
Cut a fart?
They cut the wind, buddy.
You left me an opening, baby.
So,
wow.
That was the most fun. I won't say there's the greatest scene in the show, but it was so much fun to do it. And then they cut that part, but it's okay.
Before we close, we got to show a clip. Can you show a clip? Ken, can you go? Would it just put probably? I would think on YouTube if we put Brad Leland Friday Night Lights, it would give us a clip.
It might give you the clip where I tell them. One of the famous things that became pretty big was when I told the Dillon Panthers that I wasn't going to be a Panther anymore, and I was going to switch over to East when the East switch came, and I went to the other school with the coach.
Right.
And I'm so mad at Joe McCoy. They might have that one on there because that's that was a turning point.
My friend Rini, you'll see over there on the right in the comments section, Brad. I don't know if you have illuminated comments on the right, but that's where you can see all the chatter. My friend Rini
on a phone, it might be a little harder.
Oh, okay. Well, she lives in Vancouver, and she just wrote, Brad Leland, when did you say you'll be filming in Vancouver?
They haven't set the date yet, but hopefully it's going to be in November.
And the movie is called Land. And is that out yet? The one that you?
No, that's the one that we did finish in Canada. We shot that in Calgary. And then so we went up to Banff in the mountains, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, I've been up to Banff and Lake Louise and all of that many times, and I loved it.
Beautiful.
So I went back again and again and again.
But I talked to Kim Dickens the other day, and they don't have a release date yet, but she loved the movie. She saw it because she was doing some reshoot shoots. She plays her sister. So you can imagine how great those scenes will be because Kim Dickens is awesome. And, her and Robin together, it'll be awesome. And plus, it's a very small cast. There's only 5 or 6 characters in the movie. So it's exciting. And I think it might be one of Robin's biggies.
Which one? Which one should I pick here?
Let's see.
I'll let Brad choose.
It's an interview. Oh,
yeah.
Do this commercial.
The Buddy Garrity. Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Do that commercial. It's funny.
Hang on. Let me go here and here and here.
Hi, I'm Buddy Garrity. Most of y'all know me, but for those of you who don't, I'll tell you right now that you will not find a better deal on sales or service anywhere in all of West Central Texas. We pride ourselves on 3 pillars of prosperity: honesty, loyalty, and trust. If you find any dealership in the state of Texas where you can have more fun buying a car or truck, drive it here, and I will buy it back from you for more than you paid for it. Also, right now, I'm going to throw in a family feast for 4 at Applebee's and 2 Panther playoff tickets. Just remember, deep in the heart of Texas, deep in my heart, I'm your buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
Oh my God. Talk about that's just wrong.
What's this? I can't.
I don't know. I can't even see it. I don't think I'm in that.
What do
TV
you
Guide
mean?
raves. No show feels more real.
Wait a
than on
minute.
the
Pause
next
it one
all-new
sec, Kent.
Yeah.
You can see that now on the screen share, can't you, Brad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Friday Night Lights, I can't, but I don't know if.
I think that's the boys.
Oh yeah, that's not. I don't know why it's pulling that one up. I'm sure there's all there.
Oh, that's from the movie. That
Oh,
the one right above.
That's funny as hell, Brad. Susan just said, "Oh my God, I had Applebee's for dinner tonight."
that's,
That's funny.
That's good. I know I will like her a lot.
Did you find a clip, Ken?
no, that's all. I mean, there's all kinds.
How
of
about
them.
just one clip from Friday Night Lights? Anything?
But I don't. Let me see if I can find one. Here. Here we go.
Oh yeah, this is the movie. This is a pretty famous scene.
Oh, this is the movie. Ah, shoot, it is.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's the same character, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, but it is. This was fun. And Jon Stewart, I will tell you what Jon Stewart said to me and Billy Bob after we were on his show, and I'll tell you what he said after this scene. It was pretty interesting.
Okay.
Hey, Coach. How you doing? How you doing?
Ben, how you doing?
All right, Coach. You?
Oh, pretty good.
Hi, Sharon.
How you doing?
Good, honey. So we're just out getting flowers for the ladies. Secretary's Week.
Oh, is that right? I'll be down. Well, see, I don't have a secretary, so I guess I don't have to worry about it.
You win state, Coach. We'll get you 2 secretaries.
Everything all right?
Well, yeah. Everything's going to be just fine. Everything's all right as long as we get out there and get what we need to get done and, win state.
Well, I sure hope so.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I want it as bad as y'all do, believe me.
Yes, sir.
Of course, you know, Dallas Carter, that's a tough team. Real tough team.
Yeah. Well, we're a pretty tough team too, Coach.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
So, beat them.
or what?
Or what? Or, that'd be a real bad deal for you, Gary. So, all right, let's just get out there and get it done. Get that state championship.
Well, I sure appreciate your support.
We believe in you.
I'm glad you do.
We're behind you, Coach. See you, Sharon.
That was subtle.
Yep.
Are we gonna move again?
It's possible.
No, baby.
Wow, I saw that the passenger seat had Ken Farmer
Yes.
seated there, and
You know, yep.
Yeah, I've known Ken for a long, long time.
So they showed that. So they showed that clip on the Jon Stewart show, and after they did, he looked at me and he goes, "So, are you the Texas Mafia?" What? What? I didn't know what that meant. I mean,
No, the correct answer is yes. Yes. Get that whistle on your ass. Yes.
I probably did say yes, sir.
Yes.
We
Sir. I am the Texas Mafia.
Yes, we are.
What? Do you have any questions about that?
That's right.
Colin. Hello, Colin. Tell your mom that I send my love.
I think I just got a copyright block.
All right, so we'll say adios.
Hey, you guys, I love you guys. They're fun.
Love you back, bud. Thanks for jumping on with us. I'm going to go watch Dallas Cowboy football. Woo!
Yeah, baby. Let me see where we are. I can't see. I don't have my glasses on. I'll have to get closer.
All right,
Land, Glenn, you want to take us out, and I'll play the outro. And Brad,
Yes, watch this, Brad. Brad, hold on for a few minutes because when we sign off, we want to say goodnight to you. So don't sign off yet. I want you to watch our closing video, and then we're going to personally be in a private room with you for like a minute before we say goodnight. So, guys, it is Sunday, September 13th. Thanks for spending a portion of your day with us here at the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott and a guy named Brad. Have a good week.
See you guys.